The sleaze boat is coming to take you to an island. The sleaze boat. Hey, Deacon.
Hey, Deacon.
Hey. So myself and Jen watched a fantastic movie. It was a martial arts slash horror action adventure sex comedy known as Raw Force, aka Kung Fu Cannibals, directed by who's
D.
directed
Murphy.
by Edward D.
Edward D.
Murphy,
Murphy. Yes.
released in 1982. This movie has no illusions about what it is. It is sleazy, it is silly, it is fucking offensive, and it's fun as all fuck.
It is.
Jen, what did you think of Raw Force?
To pull the curtain back a little bit. This was not my first time, Mr. Green. I'm sorry to tell you this. This wasn't my first time with this viewing this movie. We watched it about 2 years ago, and I remembered it was fun. I remember you and I had a lot of fun when we watched it, and it did not disappoint. Like, this movie is still fun on a rewatch. In fact, in a way, you can appreciate some, even though knowing stuff is coming, you still are going to have fun. The one thing you kept saying about this film that I totally have to agree with you, as you said, this film has no delusions of grandeur. It knows exactly what it is, and not only does it know it and acknowledge it, it fucking celebrates what it is, but it doesn't completely trust its audience, because, like, it feels like every few minutes we have to, hey guys, I think they're losing it. Boom, whip out their tits, and we get Bush, guys, which I'm a fan of. We need more Bush in movies. Now, you said some of the girls needed a weed whacker, but I thought, it's an aesthetic, it's a look, and we do this from the very beginning. That's how I knew, and I remember thinking this the first time we watched this. This movie pulls out, it literally whips out its cards, only it's not its dick, it's boobs. Like not even 5 minutes in, we have girls just boom, boom, boom. God bless you, movie.
The movie does kick off, hit the ground running. You have Cambodian Adolf Hitler, Dr. Spears, whatever the fuck his name is, Dr. Spears or something like that. And his
Yes.
village people, mercenary pirates slash corrupt police slash ninjas, whatever the fuck they are bringing women to an island. An island that is inhabited by cannibalistic monks who use their cannibal powers to raise the disgraced
Ninja dead. The ninja
this
dead.
disgraced dead of samurai and ninja warriors. Again, this movie has no illusions what it is. It's just like, fucking. They get to the island. Vic Diaz, Vic Diaz is the head monk, and if you can't tell by the name, that dude ain't fucking Asian. Hello, Dutch.
Wait, what? No, say it ain't so, Marty. This movie was too authentic. It was like it's like Kevin Costner with Dances with Wolves. I bet this movie checked everybody to make sure they matched up where they were supposed to give the purest representation. Just like Dances with Wolves, Marty. Just like Dances with Wolves.
Okay. So, Cambodian Hitler and his buddies gave a bunch of Filipino women to the cannibals, and the zombies are lurking in the back. Go on, Jen. What were you going to say?
I was just gonna say, and don't forget his trusty mullet. Although I guess it's more of a ponytail, a sidekick, and he's just a bumbling
He's
idiot.
second in command. Later on, he gets injured, and he has like a has a plaster on for the duration. So I call him White Nelly, because it's like, why do you have that plaster there? It's just like, he's just like fucking Nelly from the R&B rapper. But yeah, he's there, and like they pawn off the women, and yeah, it's like, again, as Jen says, this movie makes its presence known from the get go. It advertises what it is and makes no illusions about it. So The women get left at the island. Go on, Jen.
I
Go
was
on.
just gonna say, but this movie's also very manic, as we'll see from the very beginning, and all the like. Even with the women, okay, so you have a couple of the women just bare. I know I keep going on their breast, but it's me. People expect this. Like, we get a full frontal of their boobs, but then there's another girl that's in like this little thing covering up her goodies and stuff. And I doubt there was a nudity clause in this movie. I could be wrong, but I don't know if there's a nudity clause in this movie, but it kind of shows the manic, devil may care. You've got naked women, but then you got clothed women, and the monks. And the monks, I love when the monk, the Filipino monk, tells them, take off their clothes. I love how all these actors add these little touches. They know what they're in.
They have no illusions what they're in. So we leave Vic Diaz and Cambodian Hitler to join up with our heroes, some of our heroes, and they consist of James Caan, who is Bargain Bin James Caan, who is like a Vietnam helicopter pilot, sleazy Bargain Bin Burt Reynolds, and Mongoloid Tony Danza. They, they arrive. Uh, obviously, the ship is leaving America, as Jen pointed out to me, because the cab. What's it say inside, Jen?
American Cab, just again, so the audience knows this movie spares no expense, goes the extra mile. It gives an illusion, like the set design is something to behold as we get to a cat house later in the film, as Marty Bulls will tell you about. The set design in this movie's interesting. They're working with a limited budget.
But it's obvious this movie that the lads they're leaving an American port for like Cannibal Island or fucking Warrior Island. That's what it's called, Warrior Island. And these guys make up a large percentage of our supergroup known as the Burbak Karate Club. I did not know there was such a formidable force from Jen, where the fuck is Burbank?
California, darling. Where else?
Okay. If you said Florida, I'd been like, obviously.
I should have said that.
But so they arrive to go to visit Warrior Island on this kind of cruise liner. I nicknamed the sleaze boat, not the love boat, the sleaze boat, and you will get to know why later on. So the sleaze boat is I think the captain is named Dodds, but we're not going to call him that. I'm just going to call him Captain Cameron Mitchell, because that's the actor who's playing it. And there is another character who's in a Chin Yo or Yo Chin. Yo Chin. That's the character's name. He is badass. He is like the cook, and he's like he's Cameron Mitchell's right hand man, and he is the out of a movie that is supposed to be littered with martial artists. This is the only fucker who can do martial arts, and he does a fucking kick-ass job.
He does.
He is kind of the dudes who popped up after the death of Bruce Lee. There was a lot of kind of faux Bruce Lee impersonators that would change their name to Bruce Lee or Brucey Lee or Braxton Lee or some shit like that. But yeah, he was kind of part of that trend. He kicked ours. There's also the kind of the holiday rep, the kind of fucking like she's like a character from Gilligan's Island. What was she, Jen? The kind of the lady, the kind of the.
She was the owner. Are we talking? We're not talking about the crumbling cookie. We're talking about the one that owned the boat, right? The kind of.
Yeah.
She has a will they or won't they with Captain Mitchell. I call them Captain and Tennille. That's in my head canon. I call him Captain and Tennille, and she's just hungry.
Why Tennille? Why Tennille?
Because, Captain and Tennille reunited and it feels so good, which is appropriate kind of considering their storyline.
Yeah, no, they do seem like something out of Gilligan's Island, this kind of cantankerous couple that fight, but they kind of love each other.
Will they or won't they? It's actually, and this is a weird thing to say about a movie like this, but it's actually kind of sweet. It is an actual kind of sweet will they or won't they kind of thing.
There is a bit of heart, and this movie does. This movie pulls off some shit it has no right attempting. I mean, honest to God, guys, and Jen will testify. Halfway through this movie, it's like we're going to be a sex comedy. I am not messing. Ask Jen. Jen, this movie just decides it wants to be a sex comedy halfway through, right?
Yes, it does. It does. And you know what? It's awesome. And that's where we get, to see that some of the girls probably need a weed whacker between their legs. And we get all kinds of boobs. We get kind of really teeny tiny ones, more plump ones. We get really nice shot of asses. I mean, it's a whole thing. But again, like you were saying, it's this movie kind of, you have to wonder. Part of it, I think it's celebrating the sleaze, but part of it's like, okay, guys, we got to make sure. Here, get the screen. Look, fighting, but then ass. It's actually
Again, this movie does not trust the audience to keep its attention so long. So it's like you could have a knockout brawl, and then it's like, shit, what do we do? What do we do? Tits. These tits are out. But by God, if they're at the top, there's a lot of padding. These tits come with padding, right, Jen?
I like that. Well, you said the girl that gets tied up left quite an impression on her, the little hussy that's tied up.
We'll get to that, because again, that middle part is my favorite part of the movie, just for some of the quirky characters, and I get really annoyed about a particular thing that happens after. But anyway, the ship takes off anyway, and we're introduced to more characters. We're introduced to a kind of hard-bitten, kind of hot blonde called Cookie, who you think is like, so her and her cousin, they look like the Doublemint twins. But
and Cookie doesn't crumble under pressure.
she doesn't. She whoops the ass of one of the dudes in the Burbak Karate Club. But it's the end of the day, lads. It's the Burbak Karate Club. Come on, let's be fucking honest.
The bar's not raised too high.
No, it's not. So they're doing martial arts and fucking wrecking Cameron Mitchell's boat, and everyone's like, ha ha ha. Cameron Mitchell's like, my fucking boat, and the other chick who's running the kind of cruise, what's her name again? Tanyan, what did you call her?
I called her Captain and Tennille. I called her Tennille. That's not her name.
Stop being such a killjoy. We're doing a martial arts demonstration. And in fairness, like, if you came onto a boat, if I had a boat and you came on and started kicking in the windows and shit, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? I don't know. Do you think Cameron Mitchell was being unreasonable?
No, I don't, but he's like grumpy and he wants to bang her, but he can't, and so he's I think it's more this frustration talking. It's a horny frustration, I've been there before. I've been there now. And I think part of it was I don't think it's unreasonable, but I think his response was pretty, they're fucking kicking in the windows, but they are working the crowd. And this gal, Tennille, is thinking of money. That's one thing. That's basically her big character arc it's all about the moolah.
Yeah, she's likable. One thing I will give this movie is, but the characters don't have much depth, but they're fucking likable.
Yeah, they all are. Yeah, for the most part, they are. And even the ones that don't get much screen time, they leave as much of an impression as some of the ones that you do spend more time with, which is a kind of a cool thing. Not all movies can do that.
Like, I just, again, I'm just thinking of the fucking, the halfway point of this. The halfway point of the movie was my favorite part. Just all those crazy characters, like fucking Bartender Gallagher. We'll get to Bartender Gallagher. But so before they get to Warrior Island, they stop off at a port in Cambodia or the Philippines or whatever. And the Philippines. And they disembark, and the ladies decide to go shopping, and Bargain Bin, Burt Reynolds, and James Caan are like, oh ladies, you go back to the boat. I wanna want to show my friend a look around. And they end up, as Jen puts it, at a cat house. Now, the exterior of this place, I wouldn't walk into it, let alone put my dick into any of these women in this premises.
I would
Jen,
hope not.
but Jen, back me up here. Seriously.
It is like it looked like crack houses. I've seen fancier crack houses, and it's in the movie kind of like you expect, because the characters, before we arrive at this place, this business establishment, they name the cat house the House of 1,001 Pleasures. And as Marty pointed out, what's the one pleasure? What's the 1,001 pleasure? But that sounds really exotic. That sounds high end.
Look, Jen, maybe gonorrhea is a turn on for some people. But
but I mean, it does. It's just skeezy. It's just ew. It looks like something you would go to get like the black market organs or something. I mean, it's just fucking skeezy. But they go in and they have a good time. And again, ass, tits. We can't go like, and I'm not complaining. I'm pro this kind of thing. But some people
she lies. She lies. She was complaining about one thing. One of the guys is with the prostitute, and he's just doing a kind of circular motion on her nipple. And Jen is like, is there a purpose to this? Does this get your motor running? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, did it bug you that much?
It did, well, because the actor wasn't like, if he'd been a little bit more, he just kind of, it was just not very intense. I mean, and I know it's a prostitute, so maybe you don't have to bring your A game to a prostitute. But if you're trying to literally titillate, I hope the subtext isn't too, I hope I'm not being too vague for our audience. But if we're trying to titillate our, the audience, then what I would just expect him to have a little bit more passion and emotion and do some kind of clever things. He could have used his tongue, Marty. That's all I'm saying, is he could have this.
Well, okay, what if he started playing Funky Town on
But he didn't, and it was just one-handed, and he just seemed like, and I was like, if we're gonna get a cat house scene, I want an erotic cat house scene. And it doesn't do much. If you're on the job, you need to up your A game, even if it's a prostitute. Okay, I'm gonna say something controversial here.
No. Look, I'm not fucking. Jen, it's a woman's perspective. You're like, look, I'm here servicing you. You better fucking show some enthusiasm. I get it. I get what you're saying. So Dr. Spears and his I'm just gonna call them mercenaries, because these guys look like rejects from fucking the Dreadnoughts in G.I. Joe. These guys have every fucking kind of costume at their disposal. But fucking Dr. Spears rolls up in his van, pulls off the plates at the side that says police, and all these lads are wearing fucking kind of uniforms and stuff. And before they barge in, he goes in to scope the gaff out. He bumps into Bargain Bin James Caan, and Bargain Bin James Caan is like, "Oh, we're going to Warriors Island," and he's like, "For fuck's sake, you don't want to go there." Yeah, no, because they're getting fucking jade as well off the monks. That's what the monks are paying them for the women. You don't want to go there. Yeah, don't go there. You don't want that. So
this is really, minus the nudity. It just hit me, Marty. This is a Scooby-Doo episode, except with a lot of.
It's essentially Scooby-Doo with tits and ninjas
and ass and bush and prostitutes.
But yeah, he's just like, oh, you don't want to go there. It's dirty and it's all full of shit and stuff like that. So your man's like, all right, well, we're going to go anywhere. So he's like, okay, boys. He gives them the signal, and his quote unquote force, his police force, bust in and start capturing the prostitutes so they can give them to the monks. And what?
I was just gonna say, and I love the shot. Again, I know I'm focusing a lot on the nudity, but so does the movie. In fairness, I'm not being a pervert for once. The movie's a pervert, and like the some of the girls are escaping, and again, they're literally just panty clad, and they run from the balcony on top of the little van that says police, and they're just bouncing up. I like the way that was shot. I was very impressed with that.
Look, this film doesn't succeed in a lot of regards, but it does succeed in some regards, and some of the camera work is pretty good.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so.
so James Bargainman, James Caan, and Sleazy Burt Reynolds escape the raid, and they make it back to a dive bar, and they meet up with Yo Chin and Captain Cameron Mitchell,
Mm-hmm.
and they're having a deep conversation. But as we said before, the movie's worried shit. We don't want to lose our audience, so there's like this woman, and she's giving it fucking socks. She's dancing on a table, topless, just
Yep.
fucking whoa. And like even Yo Ching or Chin Yo, I keep on forgetting the character's name, is just there, and he's like he's not interested, but she's still working away, and the guys are chatting away, and then Cameron Mitchell is ambushed. He goes to the toilet and is ambushed by some of Sphere's lackeys, by Cambodian Hitler's lackeys, and he's taken out. And Yo Chin or Chin Yo, I need to find out that character's name.
Bargain Bin Bruce Lee. Bargain Bin
Bargain Brin Bruce Lee saves him, and this big fucking badass knockout brawl happens, right? And there's lads busting bottles off each other, pulling knives in each other with chairs. And who's on top of that table, Jen? Working away.
Whee! And it's not just her tits. Like, I don't want to give our audience a false sense. Like, there's a scene where she's turned around and it's her ass, and she's just grinding in the camera, and it's a nice ass, and she's got these silky, very transparent panties on, and you can see Bush peeking out through it, or at least I could. But then I pay very close attention to film. I like to analyze every nook and cranny of a film screen and stuff. But she's there, and it's just, you feel like guys are enjoying the thing, but they're way more interested in this. She should have had her own scene. She should have had more time in the more screen time.
I like Jen. I'm if you were an exotic dancer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jen brought up another point, which I'll get to. She got annoyed by something. You're an exotic dancer, and a fucking like a fucking bar fight broke out. Would you be like, well, my shift ain't over, and I'm not doing overtime? Would you be like, fuck this, keep on going?
Would guys still be putting like ones, 20s and stuff in my crotch and in my boobs? Would they still be doing that?
I don't know. I suppose so. Maybe they're like, oh, here you go, babe. Like,
I could see if you were a good enough stripper, I could. You're supposed to entertain the crowd, and if you're in you're in your little kit meals and working away. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do to take care of your family or get a boob job. You said she was working to get her family. I thought she was saving up, although she had a nice rack to begin with.
The thing I love, Jen got really annoyed, right? She's like, all these women are dancing in the nude, yet the waitress is wearing a floral dress.
It bothered me, Marty. It bothered me.
Jen, look, let's be honest, okay? This is a service industry. Food, health, and safety has to be maintained. You can't have your fucking dadders just falling into someone's fucking Budweiser or Heineken.
So you're saying, like, if you order a plate of curly fries, you don't want a side of darker curly fries mixed with your curly fries? Is that kind of what you're telling me?
I'm just saying it isn't the most hygienic.
But some guys might
scenario.
like to take care of a hot woman in their food, wouldn't they?
Depends. Like it's grand, like, oh, tits, yeah, and then you try your food and go, oh, Jesus Christ, I think there's breast milk. I think she lactases in this. Hello, Polo Surf.
Hello.
but yeah, again, big brawl, and Sphere, aka Cambodian Hitler's lackey, escapes in a van, and Mongoloid Tony Danza decides to drop kick through the windshield.
That bothered you.
It fucking did. He's like, one, he could have been killed. Two, his legs were fucked up. And three, it wasn't like there was chicks lining the street for him to showboat to.
Yeah, but don't you think it's like a male thing? Like, oh, I'm gonna man versus machine. I'm gonna make this my bitch, bros. He had a reputation to do in front of his dudes, right?
Yeah, but still, drop kick through a thing. I don't know why I'm not in a stage play. I don't know. It's not something I've really thought about. But I digress. We're moving forward. So fucking Tony Danza goes through the windshield of a car and fucks up the right hand man of Sphere, and that's why he looks like Nelly, because he ends up with a bunch of plasters that you're perplexed by.
I don't know. It just was a weird choice, Marty. Like it did. It bothered me. It's like we're trying to do this tough, dude bro action film, and we have these little. I mean, they might as well have had cartoon fucking.
Oh yeah, there were child's plasters all over his face.
Yeah.
In comparison to some of his cohorts, Jen, he didn't look that bad, which we're getting to, right? So everyone's like, fuck it, we're alive. Let's just go back aboard the ship and make our way to Warrior Island. And Spheres is talking with White Nelly, and he's like, those guys fucked us up in the cat house, and they fucked us up in the bar. We're going to take the ship. So anyway, right, the ship goes off, the sleaze boat departs, departs, and then we get, for some reason, the middle chunk of this movie becomes a sex comedy. And I'm not too bothered by this. I enjoyed it. This is my favorite part of the movie, because some of these characters were, honest to God, it was like, yeah, our main cast are gone, but the guys are shooting porkies next door. Do you want to just bring over the cast here? And myself and Jen were fucking shocked. Jen in particular, because Jen's a big horror aficionado. Two fucking big horror actresses turned up. Jules Shepard from Return of the Living Dead, and who was the other one?
The other one, and she doesn't have she barely has a speaking role. In fact, she's credited as Girl on Toilet, Camille Keaton, guys. And if that name sounds familiar, but you can't place it, she played Jennifer and I Spit on Your Grave. She did other things as well, but I don't know. To me, that just seemed like we should have had a bigger part for her, and she should have had a little bit more of a speaking role. And when we were looking through it, I told Marty, I go, is that just a coincidence? But then I Googled it, and no, that was actually the Camille Keaton. I maybe there was a reason that maybe she didn't want to talk. Maybe she didn't want to be too much in this movie, but I don't know. It was a strange thing, but it was Camille Keaton and Julia Shepard from Return of the Living Dead, as you mentioned.
Yeah, it was just weird. But it's honest to God, the movie changes genre. And like, if it was any other movie, it would be to the detriment of the flick. But not for this.
No, it enhances it, I would say.
There's a 30th birthday party, and all these people are just schmoozing and having crack, and Cookie's there, and she gets hit on by this male stripper, and he's like trying all these cheesy lines on her, and she's like, fuck this. So she goes up to the bar, a little kind of mini bar, and there she meets what I've christened Bartender Gallagher. And the reason I call him Bartender Gallagher is he breaks ice with his fucking head.
He looks like Gallagher.
Character.
Yeah, he's
It's
actually, and he's one of those characters that I was talking about that actually doesn't have a lot of screen time, but does make an impression. And he looks exactly like Gallagher, except he has red, has the same kind of hair, but it's red. And he just is charming, and he's even charming Cookie. And you know, it's a sweet moment in this kind of sleazy. That's what's so weird about this film is tonally because it's a very sleazy movie, and it embraces that part of it. But there's these little sections of just sweetness with this movie. It's, I think that's one of the reasons why it works.
Jen, this movie is bizarre. It's like if, hey, Lucio Fulci, do you want to direct an episode of The Love Boat? That's what this
Okay.
is.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That is a good way. But and you would think it would be a total disaster, but it's a lot of fun.
It is. So like Cookie schmoozing, and there's couples pairing off, and there's this kind of femme fatale chick in a blue dress, and the birthday boy, it's his 30th, and she. Can you remember the conversation?
Oh, yes,
Yeah, my boyfriend's
that
gone.
was a far out conversation, Marty. So we have this, and again, these are not big characters. In fact, something happens to a lot of these characters that piss off Marty. But for this section of the movie, so we have this kind of backstory. The guy that's celebrating his 30th birthday, he's just a nerd, and he talks like, "Oh, that's really far out. That's gnarly. Oh, I'm sorry about your husband." And he goes into this little cabin room with this very hot chick, and he's being super polite and kind of a mouth breather, you know, just heavy kind of nerdy guy, right? And then like she's taking off her clothes and telling him about her husband, and he goes, "Oh, he's dead." And he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Mind you, again, she's taken off all of her clothes very seductively and stuff. And I feel so
But
bad for
before
you.
that as well, Jen, she said, "Oh yeah, he kind of he was a
I'm
kinky type. He had a fetish, a
Yeah,
fetish."
I was getting to that. Yeah, he had and he couldn't keep his hands off any of the women. And I'm not sorry. He was a son of a bitch, a bastard and stuff. And he died. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, but why are you on this trip to like forget about him and get over your broken heart? No, I'm on this trip because there's a warrant, a tiny little warrant out for my arrest. It basically implies that she murdered her cheating husband. And Marty took a softer approach. He was like, you know what? She wasn't a bad sort, Jen. He was cheating on her.
Was but the nerdy guy with I love her. She's like she's like, yeah, he's a kinky type. He had a fetish. A fetish? That guy's a sicko.
You love that.
But while all these hijinks are going on, while the girl from My Spit in Your Grave is trying to get fucking eaten out in the toilet, and other people are kind of like
And the
up
guy
to all
can't get
kind of
his
kinky
zipper down.
hijinks. The Sphere, aka Cambodian Hitler's mercenary pirates, aka the
Nazi.
bargain bin village people, attack. I'm not joking. There's dudes wearing lycra vests with construction helmets. There's one dude, he's got makeup like he's fucking Boy George from Karma Chameleon. It's Jesus Christ.
I kept
It's
hearing YMCA during the fight scenes. I really did. Like, I just because they were like rejects from the fucking village people. But again, it's not. We're not saying this is a bad thing. It's charming.
it is. There's like little mini battles between different characters. Like there's one dude who looks like a fucking a lycra pirate who fights him, and hey, Trenchy, there's
French.
another dude who looks like who looks like Nazi Tom Savini. He
Like he
knocks out
does.
milk toast. He knocks out the milk toast dude, and then ties up the femme fatale one, and is getting ready to do the unconsensual beast with two backs when some other dude comes in and starts clittering the shit out of him. And your one's kind of getting turned on by this. I don't know if it's like turned on by being tied up or these two guys fighting around or what do you think, Jen?
It's the ropes, and it's kind of hot. You know, and you're hoping that the one dude, if you're gonna get taken, you're hoping the one dude that's sort of fighting for your honor. It's like, and she's tied up, and it is a hot scene. And again, the movie doesn't trust its audience, so you have this very intense fighting scenes with like bottles breaking and blood gushing and hi and boom and all the things you dude guys love, right? And stuff. But every so often it's an intense fight, but every so often the camera goes over here to her on the bed and she's in different poses and she's got all tied up and her ass is in the air and it's lovely. And she's kind of if you were fighting and I was tied up on a bed, I'd probably be like,
Look, I go on. Look, we can fight, man. But seriously, she will destroy you in the sack. Just fucking go now. Go now. I'll take this for you. I'll take this bullet for you. Get the fuck out of here. I am the man who will fight for your honor.
That's what was playing in my head. They missed it because I don't think the song was out yet, but they missed an opportunity. They still did. I mean, Marty, was it a hot? I mean, do guys like to see women tied up to beds?
I suppose it's each their own.
Do you? Are you going to tie me up to a bed? I hope you're going to tie me up to a bed.
Right. Moving on, right. So the village people, pirates, are pouring gasoline all over the boat and set fire to it.
I'm going to bring ropes to Ireland.
The village people, pirates, set fire to the boat, and our characters...
I'm going to bring some scarves, too.
Set fire to the boat, and our core characters escape. And I do mean our core characters escape, right?
That's really that bothered you, and I didn't think about it until you brought it up either, in fairness, but it really bothered you.
So, like, did the ship sink? Did it burn? If it did, in the arms of an angel, in memoriam to fucking bartender Gallagher, stripper guy, I spit on your grave, chick getting eaten out in the toilet, fucking Return of the Living Dead, Jules Shepherd, fucking femme fatale chick tied to bed,
the birthday boy,
nerdy dude, milquetoast 30-year-old birthday boy, gone. The fucking martial arts guy that was trying to save her, gone. Everyone at that birthday party, everyone in that dining room, all fucking dead.
But it's fine. We're getting back to our main cast who have a rubber dinghy thing that they throw in, and then they get on the dinghy thing, and they're fine. They have to go through the sea for a while, but it's cool.
But what happened to all those cool characters?
They're dead, Marty. Accept it. They're dead.
I spent 10 minutes with them, and I got more character development out of that sex comedy seek. Don't get me wrong, I like the other characters. I like Chin Yo or Yo Chin or
Bargain Bin Bruce Lee.
Bargain Bin Bruce Lee. But those characters I liked. And it's just, in memoriam. In the arms of an angel.
But I mean, they went down with the chip, and and the one gal, she gave me an idea, because like I said, I'm packing like a shitload of rope and some scarves and stuff. I gotta look up the Boy Scout manual, because I want you to tie me up in all kinds of knots.
Okay, right, Jesus Christ, where's my drink? Anywho, right, so they end up in the dinghy and washing up on Warrior Island, right?
Yes, you do.
And
yep.
the Cambodian Hitler and his crew follow him to the fucking island, and hijinks ensue. They try killing them with a bazooka, and it's just...
And they have more girls. They remember and our one guy, the guy with the ponytail, that's kind of his the Cambodian Hitler's underling. He kind of gets a conscience, because he thinks, well, I don't understand, why doesn't the Mucks go just and get the sex for themselves? They don't sleep with them, they eat them. And I love the way our Hitler dude, just enunciates it. And goes, what? And he grow a conscience.
Yeah, a bit late now, bud. So they ambush our heroes, and our heroes kind of defeat a majority of Cambodian Hitler. Yeah, Trenchy, there's a bad guy in it who looks like Cambodian Hitler.
He even talks like it. And it was funny. You said that, plastic surgery and had to get back to his sheep named Ava.
In Argentina. In
In
Argentina.
Argentina.
But yeah, they end up arriving at the temple of the monks, and the monks are like, "Oh, we come in, we shall have a feast," and it's like,
Which is
uh,
weird, and they don't commence fighting. They have this big feast, and these girls, and one of the cousin of the cookie cop that never crumbles. She's like being glazed, and I asked Marty, "What the hell are they?" She's naked, of course, because every woman is naked, and she just has these panties, and she's on again, very hot scene. She's like hanging from this pole, which we got to talk about that afterwards, darling. She's hanging from this pole, and they're like slapping. Well, not slapping her, but just dipping this green goo all over her and like away.
no, it's not green. It's not green goo. The tip of the glaze brush is just this big green leaf, and the glaze that's on it is making it look gooey.
Is it to just make her taste better for the zombies?
But they barbecue her. No, it's okay. Right. Here's the lore. Here's the science. Right.
Science.
The zombies don't eat the women. The monks eat the women to give them powers to resurrect the zombies.
Oh,
come on!
Silly me.
What's hard to understand here?
Well, you know me, Marty, my little feminine brain just can't go too much. You know me. I don't understand. Like this movie. Oh, wait a minute. I did have a tangent. This movie is super deep and complex. It's just like Dances with Wolves because they try to get representation just like Dances with Wolves. And I had another point that's escaping me at the moment. I know I told you when we were watching the film, Marty.
Was it the PETA? Was it the PETA argument?
Oh, yeah, that too! Pedophiles! Yay!
No, PETA!
Oh, no, the PETA argument! Right, pedophiles, PETA, animals, and children. But no, okay, so I have a very nuanced argument that this film about cannibal zombies, ninjas coming back to life that's also a sex romp is actually very nuanced in subtext. Because basically what this is about, you see this scene where there's a new fresh thing of girls that they're gonna eat, right? And they're in this cage in a room. It's very reminiscent of cattle going to the marketplace. And I think this movie is quietly a condemnation of how we treat fellow men and how we all are just food to each other. And that it's really a condemnation on how we treat our animal furry friends. And also, it's like Dances with Wolves for representation.
Trench,
but mostly
I don't know, Trench. I don't fucking know either. I don't know. Look, fucking, the lads fucking man up to decide, fuck this feast. Let's just rescue Cookie's cousin and the other broads that are in the back. And they do. They fucking go in with M16s and bazookas they took off of Cambodian Hitler's henchmen, and they start lighting the place up. And the monks think it's fucking hilarious. Haha, the bullets won't work, the guns won't work. So they get out of there. Hey, Ben Grimm, they get the fuck out of Dodge. And Bargain Bin Bruce Lee, Cookie, James Caan, and one-legged Tony Danza fight all these fucking zombie samurai slash ninja slash Hare Krishna with one.
I was just going to say, no kidding. It really, we brought this up already, but this really is where the Scooby-Doo connection, because they're basically running all over the island, like the bad guys, the zombies, the good guys. They're all running around the island. It is very reminiscent of a Scooby-Doo episode, if you think about it.
It is very silly. It is in a good way.
I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean it in a good way. Ben said he was following my PETA argument.
Don't fucking encourage her, Ben. Anyway, right? So this movie wants to, as well as stealing from Lucio Fulci and Porky's and the Love Boat, they decide to take a page out of fucking out of Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, and Captain Cameron Mitchell uses a torch to burn the ropes on a rope bridge. and send a bunch of the zombies to the bottom of a chasm. And they make it back to the shore and find the plane owned by Cambodian Hitler and his lackeys. And it's filled with jade, but it's concrete. It's
I
granite.
think it's
It's
not concrete.
basically
I think it's styrofoam because there's one scene where they're picking it up, Marty, and like you can tell how light it is.
Styrofoam would require money to be spent to get. These were just rocks they found that they spray painted, okay?
Okay, I'll concede that point.
But yeah, so the guys are like, okay, we're gonna fucking take the plane, get out of here, hold it off till we get it started. So Cookie, Bargain Bin Bruce Lee, and the crew are fighting off the zombie Guanchet.
I'm sorry, we forgot a big plot point. One of the dudes, right, is into like Bargain Bin. Was it Burt Reynolds and like her husband's on there? Remember?
Her husband's Bargain Bin Burt Reynolds, or sleazy Burt Reynolds,
yes.
And he's into James Caan, Bargain Bin James Caan.
Yeah, and stuff. And I love, like, this is probably one of my favorite parts of the movie because literally her husband just died right in front of her. The body's there, and she's going, and then she looks over at Bargain Bin, Burt Reynolds, and she's crying, and then she gets
James Caan. Bargain Bin Burt Reynolds is the dude who died.
Right,
Bargain Bin James Caan.
Sorry, it's confusing, but she looks at Bargain Bin James Caan and she's crying, right? And she's going, and then all of a sudden she looks at him and she's like, and she's still crying, but she makes a little horny noise, but you can relate too, right? You hear that noise coming from me all the time.
Yeah, it was. I'm trying to think of something. I flushed the toilet once, and you were like, ooh.
It was, yeah. I've done it a few times.
No, what? I remember exactly. I flushed the toilet, and I'm like, I'm sorry, Jen, I had to flush the toilet. Flush me, and I'm like, for fuck's sake, I'm flushed. Like, what the fuck? Jesus.
A day in a life with Marty.
Anyway, so, fucking Cambodian Hitler decides to take off on the plane. James Caan gets aboard, wrestles him out. He's eaten by piranhas. Jen put this perfectly. This movie is like a game you played with your friends when you were like 7 or 8 years old, where you're like making shit up on the fly. So you've all the good guys. Go on, Jen. Sorry.
You're having a lot. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you're having a lot of fun. Like, those are some of your best times you remember when you're playing around with your friends and just making up the wackiest bullshit. Those are some of your best times.
It's like, yeah, we'll get the plane and we'll knock out Cambodian Hitler and he'll get eaten by piranhas. Which come out of nowhere. Like, fucking, yeah, there's piranhas in the ocean. Okay.
Right.
I never knew that. I never knew that they were saltwater.
Not to mention, piranha will not eat and fuck with you unless you're bleeding. So unless you're on your period, you're probably okay. Although, wouldn't that be kind of cool to do a porno movie getting eaten out by fucking piranha?
The last time we watched a movie where someone received oral sex from a fish, it involved a puppet. So fuck no. I can't believe I just uttered the sentence last time oral sex, fish, puppet. I can't believe. Fucking. Fuck this! Right! So the Burbak Karate Club defeat the undead ninjas / samurai / Hare Krishnas. They get aboard the plane. The plane is loaded with jade. And they take off. Everyone's celebrating. Yay! We got everyone out alive except all the poor cool characters from the party scene. But we made it out! And the plane's filled with jade. And
question, logistical question or something, logical question. Like, they put a lot of jade, and I know it was fake, but like, with all the people, wouldn't the plane not be able to go vroom? Because the weight?
Probably not. That was actually a plot point at the start of the movie. We can't take any of the prostitutes back because we're carrying too much jade.
Yeah!
And
Yeah.
that was just one prostitute that wanted to
And
come back.
and there's a shit ton of more people at the end. And like the one thing you brought up is like when they bring the girls, like there's different numbers of girls depending what shot you're in.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like they rescue a bunch of girls, then the girls disappear, then they turn back up at the pier. It's just like, what the fuck? But yeah, they escape anyway, right? And Cameron Mitchell's like, we're gonna buy a new cruise ship, and he gets with what's her name? What did you call her again? Tywin
Tennille.
Tennille. He gets with Tennille, and everyone's
The
kissing everyone.
captain.
Fucking Bargain Bird Bruce Lee gets with the madam, the geisha madam from the cat house, and James Caan gets with his friend's wife, even though his friend died not more than 40 minutes ago, timeline
You
wise.
can't live in the past, Marty. You can't live in. Although, if I fucking die, you better mourn me for the rest of your life, or I'll fucking come back from the dead and cut the whore.
Anyway, again, as Jen said, this movie knows exactly what it is. And as the plane's taking off, James Caan, Bargain Bin. Go on, Jen, you do it. You do it. He
So
turns
we're
to
like,
the camera.
yeah, he's driving the plane, and he turns to the camera, and then there's this big goofy smile, and then he goes like that.
And then to be continued comes up.
Yeah, I love to be continued, which we never got, sadly.
I would have loved if they're flying the plane and they get a mayday, and it's like bartender Gallagher and milquetoast 30-year-old and femme fatale chick. We're trapped in an island filled with claymation dinosaurs. We better go get them, guys. I would have loved that. Would have been a sequel I would have watched.
I would have too, honestly. That would have been awesome. Well, but we can still dream. I
So,
don't know if all the cast is still around, but whatever's left, we could still dream.
Raw Force 2, Burbak Karate Club versus fucking
GoFundMe. They
Viking
should set up a
nympho
GoFundMe.
cave women on the island of dinosaurs. That would have been fucking. I would love that movie. That would have been brilliant. Fucking just nympho cave women and claymation dinosaurs and fucking Burbak
Marty, I
Karate Club.
gotta bring a cave woman costume and rope to Ireland. I need to make a list.
With that, guys, I can honestly recommend this movie. If you're a fan of action, if you're a fan of horror, if you're a fan of martial arts, if you're a fan of sex comedies,
If you're a fan of horny,
yeah, watch this movie. It's got more bush than an unkept pensioner's garden. It's got more fucking martial arts act. Well, it's one guy doing martial arts. It's a fun movie. It has no illusions about what it is, and it's just fun.
it is fun. It is fun. It's a good time. It's a good movie to watch on a Saturday afternoon. Watch it with someone you love. Watch it when you're naked, cuddled on the couch, with somebody you love in Ireland, naked.
Or just watch it with your mates, clothed with some beers and a bowl of Doritos, and it's good crack. It's a fun movie. It's a fun schlocky movie.
It really
And
is, and it's the kind of magic movie, because some movies try to do this and it doesn't work. But for some reason, this movie works. There's a charm to it that some movies try to manufacture but can't authenticate. This one actually manages to pull it off.
it does. It's got a lot of heart for a very silly movie. Again,
And a lot of vagina.
it does. It has so much vagina. But the good thing is, you don't see too much of it because it's covered behind some almighty bush. I mean, honest to God, it's like looking into the void of like big hairy fucking minge.
But you can pet it and make it your fridge, or you could put eyes on it, like little squiggly eyes.
Fucking Jen, if you come over here and we're doing some erotic evening, and you put googly eyes on no, don't put googly eyes on your vaginal hair. Hey, Dino, what a time to come in.
But Marty, you could make me talk.
Well, you're just there squeezing your thighs in and out, going, "Hey, Marty, hey, ho, 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 rah, rah, rah."
We could do a review, darling.
Jesus fucking Christ! I, Jen, were you saying Christian's away with his grandfather, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he'll only be scarred if he rewatches this. Okay, no bother.
Don't worry, I'm going to send him the link as soon as we get done.
Jesus Christ.
No, Marty, wouldn't that be cool? We could have a penis and vaginas trash fires from the grave.
Anyway, has anyone in the chat seen this movie yet? Raw Force, aka Kung Fu Cannibals. If so, let us know. And yeah, again, it's a fun schlocky movie that is like 8 or 9 different genres. Again, it's a cannibal movie. It's a zombie movie. It's a karate movie. It's an action movie. It's a sex pot comedy. Huh?
It's a love story?
If you want, yeah.
A Nazi tries to rape a woman while she's tied up.
Yeah, Mexican Tom Savini is a bit naughty in that one. He gets his fucking whole handed to him, though.
God, I wish I was tied up like her, though.
I wish you were too. Jen, I'll be back in a minute. And you just hear the door close. And I don't drive, but you just hear the engine of the car start up. You're like, what the that fucking bastard!
You don't smoke either, but you're gonna go, Jen, I'm gonna go get some cigarettes.
It turns into Gerald's game and a bunch of feral cats come through my fucking balcony window. Back!
But maybe my talking vagina with the googly eyes will scare them.
Our honeymoon is going to be a scary, scary fucking time. Jesus Christ.
I brought props, darling. I brought props.
So did I. And I just removed a bottle of Jack Daniels. And a woman. Oh, fuck. But yeah, guys, check out Raw Force, aka Kung Fu Cannibals.
Right, just cue in the song from Cats, Memories, all alone in the moon.
And would you recommend Raw Force for people to check out?
Yeah, actually, I would, especially if you just have, your Saturday, a weekend afternoon kind of thing, just a fun time, like Marty said, with your mates or with someone you love, like a naked American girlfriend is also a fun time to have. But either way, however you watch this film, you're going to have a good time. You really are. Just don't take it. The movie's not going to take it seriously, so don't you guys either. And you're going to have a lot of fun. And also, fuck you, Marty. Ben followed me on that. It's actually a very complex and deep, nuanced look at how people in the animal industry. It really is, and how we treat each other like cattle.
Jen, there was zombie Hare Krishnas fighting Bruce Lee chef and a Nazi Tom Savini trying to rape a femme fatale.
It's just like Dances with Wolves. Fight me.
Fuck it. With that, we're probably going to end it here. But Jen, what have you got coming next? I was tactical in that. Not as tactical. There is a funny moment as well in the movie. Myself and Jen were laughing because the guys kind of fucking get the plane airborne, and he repeatedly shouts, "I just can't get it up. I can't get the goddamn thing up." And she started fucking laughing. I'm like, you fucking bitch. And I started howling as well.
It's not a problem though that we have to worry about, but it was funny. Like, we can't get it up because I'm a child. But what am I? What do I? Well, I'm hoping I'll be coming all over you, tied up with scarves, with my minge and eyeballs and moonlight. You going out for cigarettes? It's gonna be a thing, Marty. But I don't think we'll film that unless we'll both get monetized.
I'm halfway to town and I'm like, shit, they're fumigating the apartments. He never mentioned anything about chemical play.
Yeah, the joke's on you, Marty. You try selling it with a dead American girlfriend. You'd have to get rid of the apartment. That smell will never come out of the walls. Melted plastic and burnt minge is probably not the best thing because the googly eyes are
Okay. Seriously though, well, have you any reviews coming up with Sparky or standalone stuff?
Yeah, hopefully Monday or Tuesday we should have our best of the best of 1991 horror. Me and Sparky are going to give you his 5 and my 5 favorite films from 1991. So stick around for that. There's a couple of movies coming out we've got our eye on, and a Tales from the Crypt episode.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited because I do know there's a new Children of the Corn movie coming out.
Fuck you, Marty.
And
nobody's told me that either. I'm so glad you told me. I was not aware of this fact.
It's when it comes to Children of the Corn, yourself and Christian are essentially the experts. If anyone's watching and want to know something about Children of the Corn, just private message Jen. She will let you know all the lore. She will let you know everything. They are die-hard supporters and fanatics. You could
say we're corny about this franchise.
You're so corny. You're so corny. You love this franchise long time.
Not as much as you. Not as much as I love you long time. What do you have, darling, coming on your channel besides me?
I put up a review for a NECA double pack of The Last of Us 2, Joel and Ellie. I will probably be doing a video on, if you like the movie Prey, check out these Predator comic book and novel stories. And I am going to put together a very secret project that not even Jen knows about, because I'm not sure I'll get it off the ground. But I'm going to keep that close to my chest. But with that, guys,
I'll find it if it's anywhere around your penis, Marty. I will find it.
And with that, we're going to end it here. But thanks a million for the gorgeous Jen, as always, for coming on to the stream.
All alone in the mood. I need more.
I also want to thank Deacon Munster, Dice Rowland, Paolo Surf, Ben Grimm, Soulless Trenchcoat, and Dino from Late Late Horror Show for stopping by.
Thank you.
It was good crack, good fun. As always, brilliant crack with Jen. So, go check out Raw Force, aka Kung Fu Cannibals, and have a good night. Take care.
Bye now. Don't forget, it's social commentary, guys. Just like Dances with Wolves and